it's working. Hey guys, and welcome to another video with me, Andrea, and with Everest, who will hopefully remain chill in this chair for a bit. I'm wearing my awesome Vegan Veins shirt, not your mom, not your milk, referencing cows. They're not your mother, so why are you drinking their breast milk? Today's video is about instilling vegan values in Everest and how do you raise a vegan? Yeah, how do you raise a vegan? You know, how do you teach them vegan values? Do you show them slaughterhouse videos? What age is it appropriate? Well, you know, obviously a lot of that is up to each individual family, and there's no one right way to teach your children about, you know, how the world is really, in a lot of ways, a very dark place. And so you want to teach them these things so they know certain things, but you also want to shelter them. It's a very difficult spectrum to balance. You know, it's the same with, you know, having a girl. I think all the time, how will I tell her from a young age that she needs to protect herself from predators? How will without scaring her? You know, it's very difficult. Anyway, veganism is the truth about when you become a vegan is you learn really dark things, and many vegans say that they struggle with anxiety and depression because we are aware of the truths of too many things. We know too much, and it can be very draining. You know, and we see it everywhere. I see death and suffering and violence everywhere I go. I go to a family gathering, and they're eating corpses, and all I can see are these animals screaming and bleeding to death. It is very traumatizing for me a lot of the time. And I don't know if that's fair to put on her at a very young age. Obviously, I'm raising her vegan, but I want to do it in a way that's about love and not focusing on the bad stuff, focusing on why we are compassionate. So the main way I do this is I read books to her, and obviously, you know, 20 years ago, this would have been, you would have had to just make up your own books because this wasn't as mainstream. But now it's way more popular, or it's just way more common to bump into vegan people. Like when I found out, I had like 3 people who were vegan moms within like 20 minutes of me. Like, that kind of surprised me, even in a major city. So there are way more books now. There's V is for Vegan, and these are all by Ruby Roth, these 3. V is for Vegan, really great for like super young kids. You don't necessarily, like, there's no violence in it. Well, there's a little bit, like, talks about zoos being jails and such, but really it's positive, and it's just about, you know, that animals are our friends. Her other 2 books, Vegan is Love and That's Why We Don't Eat Animals, are much more diving into like the darker side of these industries, and I would wait until she was older to read her these, maybe, or skip certain parts. Like, I don't necessarily think she'll even need to know that stuff unless she asks, right? But otherwise, I think she will just not want to eat animals or do anything that harms animals because she loves them. She doesn't necessarily need to know too much more than that for a while. The other 2, the other one is Tiny Tallulah and the Trouble with Zoos. And it's all about and it's by Ashley Roth, another Roth. And it's all about, you know, why kids want to go to zoos thinking it's about visiting animals and seeing animals. But it also talks about how zoos are not well equipped for animal care, and often the animals are suffering from anxiety and stress, and often the zoos exploit them with shows. So it goes into that subject really well, because I know zoos are really popular with even people who are vegans, who say they're vegan will say, oh, well, I like zoos, they're about conservation and such. But why conserve a species? Why keep a species alive by forced breeding just to keep them in captivity where they're unhappy so we can stare at them? Why don't we just do something real about animal poaching, hunting, animal agriculture, destroying our environment? Because that's what's gonna fucking save the animals, not force breeding them. And then, you know, it's zoos are not helping the animals. They're using animals, straight up. So this is a great book about that. And, you know, other ways, there's just simple, you know, even books that don't have a vegan theme, you can say, and you see an animal, you say, oh, that's our friend. You know, we talk about animals being our friends a lot of the time. And we talk about like bodily autonomy, and that, you know, the cats deserve their space if they want it. She deserves her space. I deserve my space. And that extends to all living beings. You know, we are not God. We should not decide who lives or dies. That's not our job. Or what, you know, whatever power you believe in, if you even believe in a power, the point is that we should not decide what murder is okay and what murder is not okay. You know, anyway, that's it. I don't want to go on too long, and I hope that video made sense. I've been alone for 5 days, and I am exhausted. Or 4 days. Bye. Say bye.